Far beyond the grasp of hands, or light to meet the eye, past the reaches of the mind. There find the key to nature's harmony in an architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky and carry all who join in love expanding, the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings, with the oneness of everything. Peace is in the dance of trees, who stir before the first breath of wind is yet perceived. Trust in the song, becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Like the sorrow of the clouds, whose tears fall carrying on the soil, undemanding. Lessons of love are given that we might rejoice in the music they bring of the oneness of everything. From chords that sound of molecules, spinning billions to a cell, the call resounds afar to the sun who warms the dancing earth, and whose song holds it close on the journey of a star. Songs of lives long past that touch our own are written in the earth, forever giving. And now, to maintain the harmony, gives to us all lives worth living, for the oneness of everything. Still we seek to find a truth that we might understand and reduce to terms defined, vast and immeasurable, time and space, also overwhelmingly designed. Oh, passing years, just might I know the faith that winters in the heart, to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life enters my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
Good morning. I want to start off asking if there's anyone here that would feel the least bit uncomfortable if I take my mask off while I'm in the pulpit or while the people that are speaking here take their masks off? Okay. I think it's easier to sit there and listen to someone when you can actually see their mouth move. Maybe not. But it also makes it easier to hear how we are trying to say words. Welcome to All Souls. It's awfully nice to have you here. I see some old faces returning. That's wonderful. We've missed seeing you. It's always a very nice thing. Thank you for coming. And this is a church built on covenant, not creed. We don't have to think alike to love alike. And because of that, whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, if you care to be with us, you are welcome here. Having a congregation where people have differing paths and opinions is not always easy, but treating people respectfully, doing what we can to learn about one another and not make assumptions, is our covenant and our challenge. So there are a lot of things that make being here ask a little bit more of you than other places. We don't tell you what to believe. You have to do that work for yourself, and then we discuss it together. But we front load these services with some announcements, and I'm going to ask Rebecca, where is she? Oh, golly, to come share some announcements with us. But Bennett, turn this up just a little bit, please.
Thank you, Barbara. Good morning. Nice to see everybody here. Thank y'all for coming. And of course, thank you for those of you who are watching on Facebook. We appreciate that as well. Our May Volunteer of the Month is Eric First, who is not here, and that's the way he would prefer it to be. Eric does not like to be recognized, but he is, I like to think of him as Mr. Building and Grounds, because that's kind of how I came to know him when I first started being here at All Souls. Because the man does take, he seems to be here every single month without fail for Building and Grounds. And we are trying to build a little bit more interest in doing Building and Grounds Day, and I know I have been remiss in not being out there, so I'll just put that out there right now. But we could always use the help. It's usually the second Saturday of the month, but it was yesterday this month. But again, congratulations to Eric for being Volunteer of the Month and for really working on a lot of things around the church. Our giveaway the plate for this month is the United Way of Northwest Louisiana. Now, they do a lot of work locally, but specifically, they help children be successful in their studies by working with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, which, if you don't know about that, Dolly Parton basically sends books to kids from birth to 5 years of age to help them with a better start in life as far as reading. They also do Banks on Northwest Louisiana program, which gives underserved individuals access to banking services and low-cost loans, which helps circumvent those payday lenders. So they're a very good organization, and they help uphold our Unitarian Universalist principles, and that's why they are Giveaway the Plate recipient for this month. We do not any longer pass around the baskets. We have them stationed at the entrance of the sanctuary on either side, so you can always place your donations there. If it is a part of it is pledged, then we would appreciate you noting that somewhere so we know what is going to give away the plate and what is going to pledge. You can also do that online at our allsoulsshreveport.org website. And also, Steve will be giving links in the chat because that is what Steve does, and he's really good at it. Our Zoom lunches continue. Those are now on Tuesdays at noon online on Zoom. It's an especially nice way to connect if you haven't been able to be here in person. So please take a look in the chat for links to that. But again, you can also find links on our website. Saturdays at 10:30, Larry Andros does his sitting Buddhist meditation classes. As far as I know, those are also still online. But again, you can find information on that at the website as well as in the links for the chat. Our congregational meeting will be held next Sunday at 12:15, immediately following the service. As some of you may know, most of you may not, we will be selecting a new member of the Committee on Ministry as well as a new slate of board members that we will be voting on. So if you can attend, we would definitely encourage you to. All are welcome to attend. Only those, though, who have been members of the church for at least 30 days are eligible to vote on anything. And that's all I have right now. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Susan Caldwell. I'm the Director of Religious Education here at All Souls, and I'm here with my interfaith hat on right now. North Louisiana Interfaith, we are a church. We do really well when we can partner with people in the community, which we do through World Religion Day to educate each other about our faiths, and which we do through Highland Center Ministries to offer direct service. North Louisiana Interfaith is another multi-faith partnership that we're a part of, and it's a little different in that we work together on, we are nonpartisan, but we are political. We work together on political change, and we do this by having house meetings within our institutions and getting to know each other and building relationships and figuring out what the issues are that we want to work on together. We may not have every issue in common, but we're going to have some. Just to give you some examples, the buses run at night because of interfaith, basically, so that people can get to work. There is a renter's code now governing landlords who rent out property in the property standards of Shreveport because of interfaith. Statewide, last year we're part of Together Louisiana, which is a statewide organization, and last year, has it been that recent? Last year, pandemic time is just different from but we defeated the disastrous Amendment 5, which would have just basically handed over even more money to corporations than Louisiana already does. And so we have worked together, and we've had, no doubt, we've had some losses too. Anyway, we are having a regional assembly to kind of relaunch the organization. And we have offered to bring 20 people from All Souls. And I am going to pass around a sign-up sheet. If you can be there, it is June 14th at 6:30 p.m. at Brown Chapel on Centenary. And we want to, we'll have kind of declaring our support for interfaith, and we'll have people telling their personal stories about issues that they are confronted with. I know gun violence right now is a really big concern in the community. Education and trying to get more early childhood education. There are all kinds of concerns that we can work on together. So with that, I am going to pass around the sign up, and I encourage you to sign up. We already have some names on here, and I thank those board members who signed up. Anyway. And I also want to invite you to our adult religious education, which is every Sunday morning at 9 via Zoom. So even if you're in, for instance, Albuquerque, New Mexico, you could join us. But we are reading Me and White Supremacy by Layla Saad. It's part of the anti-racism work that we've been doing, and it's been kind of an individual search for each of us, but also thinking about how collectively we can do better. You know, when you know better, you do better, and we're trying to know better and do better. And I think that is all I have. Oh, June the 12th, mark your calendar. That is Affirmation Sunday. We'll celebrate our high school graduate, Andrew Lawrence, and possibly our college graduate, but I actually need to talk to that person and make sure that that's a thing that's going to happen. But anyway, thank you.
This will be my last Sunday here for a few weeks, so those of you who have been awaiting change, have heart. I will be back, however. So if you'll just kind of settle into your seat and let yourself catch your breath, we'll prepare to enter a spirit of worship. Committed to respond to the call of a wounded world, we join together this day with loving hearts, hands, and minds, embracing the interconnected web of water, air, and earth. We follow a light of sustaining hope, ever bright with love and justice. May we bring forth this day new wisdom, strength, and courage to create a new world, not of wealth, but well-being. A world of new peace and abundance for all. As we give thanks for this earth, our shared and singular home, may we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care, rising to the calls deep within us and all around us. May we respond today and always with courage and with love. In this place we come with all that we are, all that we have been, and all that we are going to be. Our bodies are constantly changing. Cells die and cells are reborn. Your body and all that is within it has a place here. Our bodies join in a web of co-creation, creating and created, constantly changing us, formed in infinite diversity. So take a moment and welcome it. Take a moment to feel in it. Take this time to be in it. Are you leading the first part of our chalice lighting?
We like to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other.
Thank you. We light this chalice for the web of life which sustains us, for the sacred circle of life in which we have our being. We light this chalice, symbol of our purpose, to bring more love and justice into the world, not bound by walls, but connected through the web of life. We honor this sacred ecosystem of ecosystems we call home. We honor all of our diverse animal relatives. We honor the land, water, and air. We share plant, fungal, and insect life. May we remember that all life is worthy. All life is connected, and all life is sacred. Would you please rise in body or spirit and say the unison affirmation with us as you're comfortable. It will be on the screen so that you can read the words. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. Our opening hymn is All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. The lyrics will be on the screen if you can see that. If you would prefer, they are in the hardback gray hymnal number 203. All creatures of the earth and sky, come, kindred, lift your voices high. Alleluia, alleluia. Bright burning sun with golden beam, soft shining moon with silver gleam. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Swift rushing wind so wild and strong, white clouds that sail in heaven along. Alleluia, alleluia. Fair rising morn in praise rejoice. High stars of evening find a voice. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Cool flowing water, pure and clear, make music for all life to hear. Alleluia, alleluia. Dance, flame of fire so strong and bright, and bless us with your warmth and light. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Embracing earth you day by day, bring forth your blessings on our way. Alleluia, alleluia. All herbs and fruits that richly grow, let them the glory also show. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. All you of understanding heart, forgiving others, take your part. Alleluia, alleluia. Let all things now the holy bless. We live our lives in thankfulness. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Please be seated. Thank you. want that or this? Okay.
Brittany's going to help me out. Good morning again. I wanted to share with you a book called Don't Let Them Disappear, 12 Endangered Species Across the Globe. And I've shortened it up a little bit, so first of all, you probably won't be able to read the words on the screen because they're pretty small. But also, it's going to be a little different than the words on the screen. But I thought it was a cool book to share, and it's written by Chelsea Clinton, that Chelsea Clinton, and it's illustrated by Gianna Marino. There are animals on every continent and in every ocean on Earth, tall ones and short ones, massive ones and smaller ones, animals with long necks and long legs, animals that are strong and not so strong. Every animal species is important to life on Earth. Some are almost gone and could become extinct if we don't act to save them. So conservationists who study endangered animals classify different levels of risk for extinction. So not vulnerable is actually most animals. That's the good news today. We do have some good news today. But there are more added to the other list each year, unfortunately. Nearly vulnerable means they're on their way to having less than 10,000 on the Earth. Vulnerable means there are already fewer than 10,000 of that animal on the Earth, and if nothing is done, they could be extinct within 100 years. Endangered means there are fewer than 2,500 left. And if nothing is done, they could be extinct within 25 years. That's no time at all. Critically endangered means there are fewer than 250 left in the world. And if nothing is done, they could be extinct within 10 years. Extinct in the wild means the animals are only alive in a zoo or in captivity somewhere. And extinct, of course, means that no known animals remain. Now, every now and then they'll find one that they thought was extinct, and that's always really good news. But for the most part, when an animal has gone extinct, that's the end. So giraffes awake long before the sun is up to get a head start on the day's work of walking and eating and staying away from predators. They use their long necks to reach leaves in the tallest trees. They use their spots often to provide camouflage around the tall trees. But they can also be pretty tough when they have to be. I did not know this, but one giraffe kick can kill a lion. They live in Central, Eastern, and Southern Africa, and they're considered vulnerable because of habitat destruction, illegal hunting, called poaching, war, and climate change. And so you may find that you hear those words a good bit. Gorillas eat mostly plants and occasionally small insects. So you can imagine it's hard for them to gather the pounds and pounds of food that they need to eat each day. Gorillas carry their babies on their chests or on their backs, like we humans do, and they communicate by sounds and facial expressions like we humans do. They live in Central and Sub-Saharan Africa, and they're considered critically endangered because of habitat destruction, poaching, again, illegal hunting, and war. The blue whales are the largest animals in the world. They're mammals, but because they live in the water, they have to focus on breathing all the time, so they don't really ever get to be fully asleep. They tend to swim alone or in pairs rather than as part of a pod, but they actually use sounds to stay in touch with other whales in their pod for up to 1,000 miles away. They live in every ocean except the Arctic. 50 years ago, they were almost hunted to extinction, and though they're still classified as endangered, their numbers are actually growing. So again, we do have some good news today. So let's not let them disappear. Rhinoceroses get up before the sun too, so they can start grazing, and so they can sleep later on through the hottest part of the day, which makes a lot of sense to me. When they aren't eating, they like rolling in the mud to stay cool. And a group of rhinos is called a crash, and I kind of love learning some of these words. They tend to spend less time in their group, though, and more time with this bird called an oxpecker. And the oxpecker actually will sit on top of the rhino's back and protect it from the bugs that would otherwise kind of bug them. And the oxpeckers will also warn them if there's approaching danger, which is a really great thing because their eyesight's not that great. So it's kind of a nice symbiotic relationship. And they live in eastern and southern Africa, southern India and Nepal, Indonesia and Malaysia. The black rhinos, the Sumatran, Javan, and northern white rhinos are all considered critically endangered. The southern white rhinos are nearly vulnerable, and the Indian rhinos are vulnerable. And again, the reasons are poaching and habitat loss. So let's not let them disappear. Giant pandas spend most of their time alone, but they get together in an embarrassment of pandas. I love it. When it's time to graze on bamboo in the afternoon. But bamboo isn't all that nutritious, so each panda needs to eat about 25 pounds a day. They're born pink, but they grow into their black and white pattern that helps them stay hidden in the shadows of the bamboo forests. They live mainly in central China, and they're considered vulnerable because of habitat loss. Whale sharks are the biggest fish in the world. They never sleep, and they never stop swimming from the moment they're born. It sounds kind of exhausting, doesn't it? They've been around for hundreds of millions of years. They lived at the same time as the dinosaurs. And they have no bones. Their whole skeleton is cartilage, like our ears and our noses. The group of whale sharks is called a shiver, which I guess is what you would do if you saw one in the water. And they eat mostly plankton. They live close to the equator around the world, and they're considered endangered because of hunting and collisions with boats. Don't let them disappear. A celebration of polar bears will sleep when their main food, seals, are also sleeping. They do most of their seal hunting underwater, and they can smell a seal 20 miles away. They have 2 layers of fur that help them withstand the below freezing water and air temperatures of the Arctic. And they live in the Arctic regions of the US, Canada, Denmark, Norway, and Russia. They're considered vulnerable because of climate change, habitat loss, and less prey to eat as a result of those things. Don't let them disappear. Lions live in sub-Saharan Africa and India, and the pride of lions will hunt antelope, buffalo, wildebeest, zebras, and giraffes. The lionesses do most of the hunting, yet they will still sleep up to 15 hours a day. The male lion will sleep up to 20 hours a day. No comments. Asian lions are considered vulnerable, and African lions are considered endangered because of conflict with human neighbors, less prey to eat, and again, poaching and habitat loss. A romp of sea otters will sleep by wrapping themselves in kelp to keep from floating out to sea. And if there's no kelp around, they actually join together and create a raft to keep each other safe. And a sea otter uses a rock to crack open clams to eat. And I kind of love this. If a sea otter gets a really good rock that they like a lot, they will swim with it for miles and use it for a long time. If you have your favorite hammer or your favorite saw or whatever, you know what that's like. They wash their paws after every meal. They live in the northern Pacific, and they're classified as endangered because of pollution and less prey, habitat loss, and poaching. We really don't want to let them disappear. A congress of orangutans will prepare nests in the trees, complete with mattresses made out of branches and leaves, and even roofs to protect them. Their long arms help them swing through the trees, and they communicate with each other with sounds, facial expressions, and gestures. They're a lot like us, and orangutan means person of the forest in the Malay language. They live in Malaysia and Indonesia, and they're considered critically endangered because of habitat loss and poaching. Tigers do their hunting at night. They spend most of their time alone, although tiger moms and cubs together will form what's called a streak. Their night vision is 6 times more powerful than ours. They are the biggest cats on earth, so they need a lot of meat. They eat mostly deer and antelope, wild pigs, and water buffalo. They're strong and fast. They can jump as high as 15 feet and run as fast as 40 miles an hour. Unlike other cats, they love water, and they swim up to 3 miles at a time. They live in South and Southeast Asia, China, and Russia, and they're endangered again because of, can you guess? Poaching and habitat loss. That's right. And finally, elephants sleep at night and also nap in the afternoon when the sun is highest and hottest. They're the largest land animals in the world, and an elephant's trunk alone can weigh 400 pounds. That trunk is a food delivery device. It can be a snorkel for swimming, and it's also a tool that lets the elephant determine the size and shape and temperature of an object they might pick up. All elephants have trunks, but not all elephants have tusks, which are the very long teeth which help them find food and water, and which also sadly often make them vulnerable to poachers who want the ivory. Elephants show a wide range of emotions like love and compassion, and they can grieve over lost loved ones, often for years. They live in sub-Saharan Africa, South and Southeast Asia. They're considered endangered. Asian elephants are considered endangered, while African elephants are considered vulnerable, again, because of poaching and habitat loss. So let's make a pledge as fellow inhabitants of planet Earth that we won't let any of these species disappear, that we will talk to our leaders, that we will do what we can to stop climate change and to stop illegal hunting. We can work together to change the future. Thank you. Let's sing out the children and youth. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Listen, this is what was bequeathed us. This earth the beloved left, and leaving, left to us. No other world but this one. No other shore, only this bank on which the living gather. Let us pause and breathe. This reading is from John Gibb Millspaugh and Sarah Gibb Millspaugh. I have adapted it a great deal. It was written after one of the 20,000 acres in one night fires in California, Santiago fire, I think. But I've changed it to try to broaden it a bit. Let us pause and breathe and be in touch with the sacred presence that permeates all, including this room. Web of all of life, death, and renewal. We open our hearts to those who suffer. We've seen on our screens and TVs, in our newspapers, and outside our windows, landscapes once familiar have turned alien. Suddenly and gradually, we lost and lose our homes and ecosystems, human and animal life, and our sense of stability. Reminded that all Earth's creatures must one day succumb to death's patient insistence. Spirit of life and love, in testing times like these, we stand in awe before the mystery. In these days, our eyes are filled with fighting and fire and flood, shooting, sickness, and selfishness. While some have fled homes in great haste, some as quickly have opened home to the stranger. Even when death sweeps the landscape, we know life will renew itself. Forests will rise again. Ecosystems will fill with life. And future homes will fill with love. We know life renews itself even now, as human good springs up in the face of disaster. And people reach out to one another, serving one another across every difference. Web of all of life, death, and renewal, through all the seasons of our lives, may we find the courage to reach out in sympathy or in need. May we feel within us the life force that stirs under embers and ash, waiting to be reborn. May the compassion and care we have found in our times of need carry us now and remain with us as we move into those times and places where we might more easily close our hearts. We pray for strength. And finally, we pray for gratitude, for all that is not lost and all that we can rebuild. May we ever be the rebuilders. No other world but this one. No other shore, only this bank on which the living gather. That and the beloved's clear instructions turn me into song. Sing me awake. Let us enter a moment of silence. This is easier to hear.
Okay. Howdy. My name's Bob Jordan. I've been a member since 1990, I think, but my memory is a little cloudy in my old age. So I'm not sure about that. I have done various things in the church, performed various functions in the church. I was a member of the board twice, and I've been member of various committees, member of the choir. And two of the groups that are associated with the church have been meeting for 22 years. One is a discussion group, and we started out as an Eastern religions discussion group, of which Bob Wood, who's holding up his finger, was a member from the beginning, and Kathy Osuch and some others were members from the beginning, and the other group was a music jam group. I think I'm going to take this down if you don't mind. Okay. I keep clouding up my glasses when I do that. I'm going to read something that I wrote on Facebook. It was an answer to something that a person who was an old friend from years ago when I was in the Peace Corps challenged me about. And he was urging me to accept a literal interpretation of the Bible. So my answer is my belief as it presently stands in answer to his challenge. Subject to revision if evidence previously unknown to me causes me to reconsider. And I will read it rather than ramble incoherently at length, which you don't want me to do. I have been on a spiritual journey all of my life. I've studied virtually all of the world's major religions and found wisdom in all of them. I have studied the Bible, various versions. Much of it I do not take literally, although even biblical myths contain wisdom when interpreted non-literally. The Bible contains wisdom to live by, as does the Quran, the Hindu Vedas, the Buddhist Sutras, the Tao Te Ching, the Torah, and the Jewish commentaries, and many other philosophical and religious texts. This church welcomes people with all of those religious beliefs and philosophical beliefs. I'm trained as a scientist and take the scientific method of testing hypotheses with observations and experiments as my primary standard for judging what is usable knowledge and what is not. I do not believe in heaven or hell. I try to focus on each moment joyfully. In the Bible, particularly the Old Testament, it states that nature is a manifestation of God, of God's handiwork. My present understanding is that nature is God and God is nature, and there is absolutely no distinction between the two. If there is a God, he, she, or it is the great watchmaker who established the laws of nature and set this incomprehensibly vast universe in motion. Everything in the material universe is connected to everything else. This is mysterious and fills me with wonder. My sense of connectedness to all humans, the earth and all that the earth contains and sustains, our solar system and the vast mysterious universe that surrounds us is what I call love. The universe is my Bible and my prayer. Amen.
Thank you, Bob. Today, the UN, one of the few U's that you will hear discussed in a Unitarian Universalist church that's not, at least to some extent, self-referential. The UN. But today, the United Nations observes both World Water Day and International Day for Biological Diversity. Each year, these come on the heels of Endangered Species Day, which has been on the third Friday of May since 1993. Thousands of people around the world participate in Endangered Species Day by celebrating, learning about, and taking action to protect threatened and endangered species. Wildlife refuges, zoos, aquariums, gardens, schools, libraries, museums, community groups, nonprofits, and individuals hold special programs or events for people of all ages. People around the world, though I think not in our immediate area, participate in these activities or others. The closest events aligned with this that I could find were in Waco and in Kemah, Texas, which is southeast of Houston. Anyway, World Water Day celebrates water to raise awareness of the 2 billion people living without access to safe water. Now, this congregation traditionally does its primary tributes to water at the end of our summer when we come back together after scattering often to different parts unknown. Anyway, but we do that with our water communion, and I want to invite you, if you go places this summer, to bring back just a little sample of water from some place associated with where you go. We pour those into a common receptacle. That water is then boiled and filtered a little bit, not for drinking, but we use it for rituals. And we carry representations of that water to our water communion that we have at the Point, which used to be called Swoosie. And sometimes there are things associated with General Assembly that we can take water to and bring water back from, so that we're connecting with Unitarian Universalists from all over the place. Anyway, if you know that we have some other options, if you don't remember to bring some back with you. But we do those celebrations then, and in part at our Thanksgiving communion, which we used to call a Seder and found out that was appropriation. And now we just call it our bread and water communion for Thanksgiving. But so we already have occasions in the church year dedicated to water, and we do not, as best I know, have times earmarked for specifically honoring biodiversity. The American Museum of Natural History says the term biological diversity refers to the variety of life on Earth at all its levels, from genes to ecosystems, and can encompass the evolutionary, ecological, and cultural processes that sustain life. UN Biodiversity Convention slogan for 2022 International Day of Biological Diversity. The slogan this year is Building a Shared Future for All Life. They hope that it highlights biodiversity as the foundation upon which we can build back better. They saw the slogan as conveying that biodiversity from ecosystems-based approaches to climate, and or nature-based solutions to climate, health, food and water security, and sustainable livelihoods is the answer to many sustainable development challenges, the biological diversity. We can so easily become overwhelmed with all that we see in the news. Many of our young people are feeling hopeless, like what's the point? Some lethargic, some angry, some feeling victimized and cynical because of it. They need hope. We need hope. We need faith that the renewal of life can still occur to include humankind. Pema Chodron gives an example that is quite common. She says, you can look out the window or up at the sky and say, the sun isn't shining. We see the clouds, perhaps even rain or snow or hail, but we know that actually the sun is shining. We know that no matter how dense the cloud cover above it all, the sun still shines. The light is still there. The darkness has not overcome it. Pema also says that we can feel that way about ourselves. She says we can work up resentment toward the clouds, our imperfections, the things about ourselves we don't like or don't think are good enough or would prefer were some other way. We get focused on the clouds or all that's wrong in the world and or ourselves and lose the capacity for peace. The capacity to be the change we want to see. To live from love and compassion, even though the clouds are only doing what clouds do. She points once again to the practice of calm awareness, non-judgment, egoless openness, the unbiased nature of nature, she teaches that relaxing and opening, freshness gets uncovered. That it's always there, like the sun. It takes practice to displace the busyness of our minds with warmth, caring, and compassion, and connectedness. But this work may be one of the most fundamental cultural processes we can endeavor to acquire and by which we contribute to ultimately sustaining all of life. Chodron says to notice when things stop your mind. She said this can happen when you start to trip and fall, but you don't fall. Your mind stops for a second. The openness that's always there is noticed in that second, or those few seconds. And the internal room is wide open. When thoughts like a crowd of people enter, be okay with them. Notice them. Accept them for what they are, like the clouds, and allow yourself to act from calm, intelligent awareness. No matter our age, we need to remember we are the ones we've been waiting for. If we have faith that the light is still shining, we have hope to give those young people. If we have tools to be in nature like nature, if we use tools to be in nature like nature, we can evolve in wisdom and harmony with all that is. Waiting is no longer an option. Maybe you think it is. I know you don't feel it is. People can choose otherwise, but I certainly would call that a foolish choice. We make choices all the time. The dualistic mind reads reality in simple binaries. This is from Richard Rohr. Good and bad, right and wrong, and thinks itself smart because it chooses one side. This is getting us nowhere. Still, binary understanding or perspective is a fixed point. Life is change. The future is never just one choice, it's 1,000. And they never stop. You will choose your future every day of your life. And should you wake up one day to find that you regret the choice you made the day before, then make a new one. Don't focus on whether you may or may not have been wrong, rather where you are now and how you approach life in this new day. Our closing hymn is For the Earth Forever Turning. The words will be on the screen, and they are in the hymnal on page number 163. For the earth forever turning, for the skies for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the mountains, hills, and pastures in their silent majesty, for the stars, for all the heavens, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the sun, for rain and thunder, for the seasons' harmony, for our lives, for all creation, sing we our joyful praise to thee. For the world we raise our voices, for the home that gives us birth. In our joy we sing, returning home to the blue-green hills of earth. Thank you. You may want to be seated for just a minute. Marie Curie said, "You cannot hope to build a better world without improving the individuals." To that end, each of us must work for our own improvement and at the same time share a general responsibility for all humanity. Our particular duty being to aid those to whom we think we can be the most helpful, useful. Spirit of life, on this day of biodiversity and always, we give thanks for the bees, moths, and butterflies, for the mosses and prickly pear cacti, pine trees, purple flowers, and fleshy fungi, birds, bears, and big cats. We give thanks for whales, worms, and walruses, flies, foxes, ferns, llamas, lichen, and lizards. We give thanks for the land, water, and air we share, and for the whole sacred ecosystem of beings. Bless what our common hungers, thirsts, and drive to connect. Bless our beautiful differences and diversity, our bodies, histories, and unique paths. Bless the roots and relationships that connect us to one another, and bless our right to belong, to be, to become in this wild, wonderful web of life that is our home. May it be so. May it be so. Be smart, be careful, be at peace until I get to be with you again. Amen, Ashe, Namaste, blessed be.
Is for everyone. Everyone's worthy of love. Every broken heart will find some light when love gives them hope. Hope is for everyone. We rise to give life to hope. Every spirit breathes with one deep need for hope. Make from justice, justice is for everyone. Tempered with mercy, it'll grow. Everybody shares the burden. Every justice makes peace. Peace that finds us, set our minds to kindness and joy. Joy is for everyone. Every soul longs to know joy. Every mother, child, courageous smile speaks joy, born of love. Love is for